Great news for Tom Lockyer being back. What have you made of his events and his recovery?
Well, incredible, isn't it? Yeah, it's a great story. We all watched the events unfold in the playoff final. We're all concerned. And it's been nothing but positivity since that day. So he's had some great news, back to normal, and now playing in the Premiership, which is, unbelievable for him as well. It's always going to be a challenge when you get promoted from the Premiership. I think the club itself in Luton have done really well to be where they're at with the resources that they've got available to them. But for him personally, he should be very proud of how he's recovered after it. And like I said, a dream of his was to play in the Premiership, and he's now achieved that.
And he must have overcome a lot of self-doubt as well, because even you must have thought, will I see him in a Wales shirt again? Yeah,
well, it was the uncertainty surrounding it, wasn't it? I think we all watched it live. I certainly watched it live and tried to, rewind it back a few times to see what actually happened. And because of the manner in which it took place, it was a little bit worrying, wasn't it? But thankfully, like I said, everything's back to normal for him. And the good thing is for us now, we've got a centre-back that's playing in the Premiership week in, week out.
On the minus side, no Dan James. How serious is his adductor injury?
Yeah, I don't think it's too serious, but it puts him out of this camp, unfortunately, Rob. So it's probably about a 3-week injury. So we could push him, but we wouldn't have him at his best, and it would be like literally pushing him to the day before the game, maybe the Latvia game I'm talking about, not the friendly. So I don't think Leeds would want that, and we need people on the grass as well, fit, ready to go, because it's obviously an important game for us.
There was no thought of bringing him down to have a look?
No. We've seen the results, the scan results, and it was an easy decision for us in the end then to leave him out.
He can't play. Your goalkeepers, none of them are playing. How worrying is that? Even though in the past, Danny Ward and Wayne Hennessy have come back after periods out of the game.
Yeah.
But is it a big concern of yours that all 4 keepers are not featuring at all?
Yeah, of course. Well, we've said time and time again, and every press conference we've come into, we've said, in an ideal world, you want all your players playing football at club level to benefit us. Ironically, from an outfield perspective, this is probably the healthiest we're going to be with players playing club level. It just means that the goalkeepers at this moment in time, all 4 are not playing first team football, which isn't great, but we've had to cope with it in the past, Rob, and it's something I can't control, unfortunately. And we'll assess all 4 goalkeepers when they're on camp next week and make a decision then.
How do you assess them, though? Because you can't assess them if they're not played, can you?
No, I mean from a day-to-day, performance, how well they're training. That's literally how it goes down to. We know what they're capable. We know who's got the jersey at this moment in time. But I ask all my players to go and play football to make my decision easier then. Of course, there's the anomalies like we had with Gareth at the time, and that wasn't playing, but of course he was always going to come in and play. But in the main, you want your players playing domestic level to make it easier for us, so we haven't got to use the first couple of days to get them up to speed to then get them ready for the game. They're already coming in. If anything, we're tapering the session so they're lighter going into the games. So that'll be something we can do with an outfield point of view. I trust my goalkeeper coach, Tony Roberts. I think he's one of the best in world football. I really do, and he'll be having conversations with them. I know he has done up to now anyway, but the first couple of days it'll be over to him to assess them and report back to me.
A lot of talk around Brennan Johnson, what might happen to him before Friday.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Forest, but if he goes to Tottenham, the expectation at a club like that. Could he cope with that?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Not a problem. He was a young lad establishing himself in Nottingham Forest first team. I was at the game Saturday. I went to Old Trafford to watch, and I thought Forest were very, very good. To go 2-0 up after 3 or 4 minutes was an exceptional start for him. Inevitably, with the quality Man United have got, they come back into it. But young players today, and Brennan falls into this category, they're a confident breed, a confident bunch, and he's more than capable of playing at that level easily.
Because inevitably, if he goes, it'll be seen as trying to fill certain Harry Kane's boots.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, he can't see it as that. It's a great move for him, and I liken it to what DJ went through. He'd had one great season. Brennan's had more than one great season in the Championship, by the way. He scored in the Premiership, and his record's there to be seen. DJ went from off the back of one good season in the Championship into a club in Man United, and he coped with it. I thought it was unfair towards the end of the pressure that was put on him. I think with young players, you've got to manage them really well, going into big clubs with big expectations. So for me, I wouldn't even talk about the Harry Kane situation and going in to fill that. I think he's just got to go. He's his own person. He's his own player. He's a different type of player to Harry. So, whatever club he goes to, he's going to add a lot of strengths.
Last couple from me. Josh Sheehan back?
Yeah.
What are the thinking there?
Well, Joe Morrell suspended. We're short in numbers in the midfield area, Rob. So Josh is playing, and when he does play, he's a type of player I like. He's very good on the ball, as supporters over the years would have seen him play. We've got young JJ, we've got Ethan, who's playing at Leeds week in, week out. So we haven't got strength in depth, I'd say, then, in that position. So he's coming in to join the group. He's been with us before and impressed. So for me, it was the next one down who's playing and knows the group. And I've picked him, yeah.
And your thoughts going into 2 games, is the idea to give a run out to certain players to look for career and keep the strongest starting lineup back for the big game?
This camp is all about Latvia. It's all about Latvia. The friendly is a friendly, and it'll be used for that purpose. It won't be, I'm not going to be crazy and play players 90 minutes that don't need it. It's all about the Latvia game. We want the 3 points out there.
1 win in 12, you're aware of that. How much pressure is there going into this game to keep realistic hopes of qualifying from this group alive?
Well, the career game as well, that's a game, so will that be 1 in 14 if we lose that, or 1 in 13? There's pressure in every game you play, Rob. Different type of pressure. When I first took over the job, I wanted to hit the ground running, I wanted to give a good impression. That was the pressure I put on myself. Then I wanted the pressure of having signed the contract myself and had the manager's role for myself. I wanted the pressure that's a different type of pressure to impress and do well again. The pressure in the World Cup, you put pressure on yourself. There's pressure in every single game, different type of pressure. Now we're off the back of 2 defeats. And the reason we're under pressure is because of the expectations we've put on ourselves over the last couple of years and the standards we've met and the games we've won and the competitions we've gone into in the Euros and getting promotion from B to A in the Nations League. It's the pressure that we put on ourselves now from expectations point of view. So we're fully aware of it. We'll take it. We'll roll with it. I've just got to throw full focus onto the 2 games coming up, but more importantly, the Latvia game, and pick a team that will go and get us 3 points and get us back on track.
Definitely the last couple. Luke Harris, no mention.
That 4 questions.
Not in the squad. Luke Harris, because you talked about giving the likes of him and JJ stepping up for the plate. What's the score with him?
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? Luke's not been involved with Fulham, and the day I announced the squad the night before, he's on the bench and comes on. So, look, the plan with Luke is, I think, he might still go out on loan and play games at a lower level, obviously. So we see potential in him. It hasn't quite gone as I anticipated, if I'm being honest. Like with Rubin and like with JJ, and I'd wanted JJ to have played more minutes in the Championship last season. So with Luke, it's about managing him. So he'll drop back down with the 21s and have a couple of games. We've done it with Harry Wilson. When Ryan was manager, we dropped Harry Wilson back down with me at the time with the 21s, and he had a couple of games, and that benefited him. It's about giving him caps. It's good that he can come away and expose him to the environment of being with the first team, but there's nothing like playing games and having caps as well. We want that cap accumulation. So if he can go and have a couple of games with Matty with the 21s, then it'll benefit him.
I promise this is the last.
Okay.
Is the pressure showing with the red cards, and how concerned are you about the number that are building up in the last year or so?
Yeah, I think both players, well, I know they do. They regret, the red cards. Kiefer's, well, they both disappoint me. I know Joe. I know that, he wouldn't have meant to get sent off and let the players down in the way he did, and I told him that at the end of the game. He held his hands up straight away. Kiefer's I'm a little bit more disappointed with, because we've raised to the bait there. They know what they're doing. They're the master of the dark arts at that level, and we fell for it. We're better than that, so it will be addressed. It will be. If we're going to compete at this level and win games of football, you need 11 players on the pitch.
Cheers, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Can one question?
Yeah.
Is that it?
What's the meaning of life, Rob? Can I just bring you back to, you mentioned there in an answer there, the pressure on yourself as the manager, but what expectations do you have of the players now when they come into the camp? You say the game, it's all about Latvia, and we know the reasons why. So what do you expect of the players? What challenge are you going to set them? Because the results clearly not good enough against Armenia and Turkey, but perhaps the performance against Armenia was one that was especially disappointing.
Well, I think the Turkey one's unfair for you to say that. Armenia, I'll take, absolutely. Deserve all the criticism in the world for that. Definitely. That's the one that's got us, not the Turkey. Turkey away was always going to be a tough game. And I think first half with 11 men, the game plan went to plan. We broke their press. We knew they were going to come and press side. We broke the press. We got Rambo into great positions on the ball. Our final pass, our final ball in behind let us down. The sending off completely changed the game, and that was it. We have to put a centre half on, and we defend the box. And ironically, then with the ball in the box is the goal that starts the defeat for us. So Turkey away was always going to be a tough game. Yeah. Armenia, not acceptable. That's what I want to see. I want to see, and you know, some of the press criticised my comment after the game, which I get. You've all got your opinions, but what we've got to appreciate is we're Wales. We've had some significant players retire in the meantime. So managing expectations, if we're going to win games of football, we need to defend like we did in Croatia and attack like we did against Latvia. I've watched the Latvia game back a couple of times since we played them. To get the 1-0 win, our defending was superb. We defended like we did in Croatia. For some reason, against Armenia in the summer, we didn't defend like that. It was as if we didn't show them the respect they deserved. We pressed high, we defended deep, nothing that we'd worked on throughout the camp. The language was consistent throughout the week. Treat them with the respect they deserve. They're a good outfit. We might have a little bit less possession than what we had against Latvia. For whatever reason, that didn't go to plan. And 4 shots on target, 4 goals punished us. So for me, I want a reaction. I want to see us defend. Like I said, that's our identity. That's our foundations. If we show Latvia away the respect we did with Croatia away, that's our foundations. Because we know we've got players in the team that will score goals and hurt teams.
Listen, it seems to me your answer to me there is that there's a sense of an urgency and obviously about the game against Latvia. Is there a realisation that if the result does not go well, that qualification is out of your hands?
I think Armenia will still take points off teams in the group. I do. So I think while it's still mathematically possible, we'll keep playing and keep fighting for the wins. Of course we will. There's results the same camp. There's fixtures the same time as we're playing as well, and I believe that Armenia potentially could take points off. So while there's still points to play for and qualifications in sight, we will give it absolutely everything that we've got.
If I can just go back to Tom Lockyer again, can you explain? Again, how it works with the medical staff, you know, with yourself and with previous managers, explain how much of an involvement the Welsh medical staff is. You know, we know about David Brooks, how they were the ones that flagged his you know, him potentially being seriously ill, which he was. So in terms of Tom Lockyer, how have you been able to work with Tom and reassure him, he reassure you? How's that worked?
Well, that'll be conversations between medical team, which I'm not privy to. I don't get involved with that.
I'm not asking for medical data. No,
it was staff again. But it's as simple as that, Garrett. You just I have weekly updates from Sean, head of medical. He'll especially we have a 3-2 or 5-3-1. -5 weeks before the camp, we'll have a heads meeting. We'll go through -3 then a -1. So we had it last night. Anything from a medical point of view. So he'll then deliver to me on every player, or certainly if there's any major issues, and that's what we'll do with the clubs. We'll be in contact with the clubs, get their data, how well they're training, the numbers through the week, and if there's been any issues.
I suppose from with the pastoral side with Tom is, how do you know, there's got to be some doubt with him, is how has he been able to sort of convince himself that he can play, he can have a career, he can pick up, he can be better than he ever was?
Well, he's had the all clear, so there's been top specialists, top surgeons that have been dealing with him, and he'll have been given the all clear. And in his head now, he's happy, and I think you can see that in the way he plays. You can't prepare yourself for a Premiership fixture if you're not right. You know, if you've got other stresses, if you've got other concerns. So in his head, he's as right as rain again.
So how pleasing is that for you, that the fact that mental side of any illness, any injury, that he's overcome?
Yeah, well, it shows strength of character again, doesn't it? And anybody in this room who knows him knows that he's got that in abundance. You know, he's a true warrior, and yeah, he's somebody that you'd want in your team.
Your captain made a decision to return from France, turned down offers from elsewhere. He wanted to be close to family, playing at Cardiff City. How do you see that working out from your perspective? Because he's not just a senior player within Wales, he's your captain. So how happy are you with his move to Cardiff, how that's playing out, how that impacts on you?
Yeah, I'm really happy. I was in conversation with him throughout the summer. He was keeping me in the loop with decisions that he offers that he had and decisions he was going to make. When you've got a happy player, and he is, he's a family man. So being away from his family was hard for him to manage. Being at home with his family, knowing that he's going to finish training and jump in his car and within 10 minutes be at home with his kids, as lively and as energetic as they are, he'll enjoy going home to see them. And when you've got a happy person, he can just relax and enjoy his football. That's what I was saying about Locks. You can't carry any other stresses. It'll have an impact in your body, in your injuries, in your performance. And I think we're seeing an Aaron who's really enjoying his football, you know, and I think they've had a good start to the season.
Are you almost, you know, again, from just reading into your answer, maybe a slight new lease of life? Yes, he was a professional. He knew how to look after his body, but a sense of maybe a bit of a new lease of life.
Yeah, he's always looked after his body to the nth degree. He's another one of those that you look at him and, you know, he's a fit lad. He does his work before training and after. And he gets, you know, outside physios if he need to be, and he pays for it himself, and he gets that care. And I just think being at home, being around his family, has made a world of difference for him. Like I said, he hasn't got to worry about when he's going to see the kids next and speak to them on the phone and have them missing him. And I think that's really helped him.
Just picking up on a question about Brennan Johnson. Just, I think we've been here before, haven't we? Close to transfer deadlines with speculation over Brennan's future. In terms of, you mentioned in a previous answer, young player, they're confident, they seem to take these things in their stride. But what bit of advice would you maybe give to a young player, especially when there are connotations with him being potentially, if he goes to Tottenham, a replacement for Harry Kane? Is about just managing expectations, taking it all in your stride, not getting carried away. What advice would you give if such a move were to transpire?
I think he's got a good support network around him. I know his dad. His dad used to play, didn't he? So he's been through all this himself. So I think he's got a great support network around him. First and foremost, you need that as a young lad. I don't believe he'll get carried away with it. I think he'll stay grounded. We certainly won't allow that in the changing rooms with the Wales setup. So we know him as a person, and he won't change. And I think you can't go into a club expecting to fill somebody else's boots. Like I said, I think he's a different player to Harry. So I think if he goes there, he goes of his own ability. He goes because he's Brennan Johnson and what he can offer to the team. I watched him at Old Trafford on Saturday, and I thought he was a constant threat against a top team. So he's probably, I've said it before, one of the best counter-attacking forwards in the Premiership. So, like I said, different to Harry, so he's got to go off his own ability then.
Rob, last question from me. I'm going slightly off track. The reason I'm asking it is because over the years that I've been covering Wales, so much inclusion between the men's and the women's side. Gemma Granger works with you. We know all about the tie-up off the pitch as well, with inclusivity and equality within the FAW. I'm not asking you to talk about Luis Riables himself, but just maybe how unedifying it is for football. We've got a situation where in a women's team, you know, the men's team would applaud the success of the women's team and vice versa.
Absolutely.
That's not been able to happen. A nation can't celebrate their women win the World Cup, and it's tainting football globally, whether it's men's or women's. Have you looked at what's been going on in Spain?
Of course. We've had a conversation about this morning, and that's the biggest thing for me. We should be celebrating what they've achieved. We should be celebrating what the women's game has done in the summer. Celebrating how good the tournament was. You know, I've sat and watched the games as well, like any of us, and it was incredible. You're right. I've got a great working relationship with Gemma, and we speak, and we'll discuss tactics and have those conversations. And we're always saying that women's football is on the rise, but there's still areas that need to be addressed. So for me, it's a shame because it was a great tournament, and we should be celebrating what those players have done. It was incredible, and watching the final was incredible. So, it's tarnished it a little bit, hasn't it? And decisions have to be made now.
Lawrence, thank you.
Hey, Rob.
Hi, Lawrence.
Just to go back to the goalkeepers for a sec. Danny Ward, I suppose, is the key one because he's gone down to third choice at Leicester. Would you like to see him move before transfer deadline day?
I want all my players playing, so I'd rather him. He's got so much ability. I want him playing week in, week out. So I'd rather not see him sit there and whatever's going on at the club with him being third choice. You know, I don't believe he's a third choice goalkeeper, but that's for them to sort out, not me. I want my players playing. So if it means, from a selfish point of view, he gets out and he's playing week in, week out, then I'd like to see him get the move. Yeah.
Just a couple of other guys. Ruben Colwill, I was going to stay with the 21s. Is he close to persuading you to get back into the senior side?
Absolutely, he scored again last night. We have got players at the minute in that position that are quite strong. Brooksy was great to see Brooksy last night playing and captaining the team and getting his goal. So we've got people like Brooksy coming back into it now and getting fitter and fitter by the week. And the good thing is he's playing well, Rubes, and we are monitoring him. And going back down, same reason I give with Luke earlier, cap accumulation. We need as many young players getting these caps, experiencing international football. And when the time is right, we see him definitely he has got a bright future. So we'll, at the right time, bring him back up with the seniors.
Ollie Cooper misses out.
Yeah, but again,
thinking there?
He's been in the system. He's a great lad, great player, unbelievable attitude. He's not completely out of it. He's still in the system. He's still in the group that we've got, just not selected for this camp.
What's he got to do to get himself to that level?
Just keep playing well consistently. We know what he's all about. He's got bags of energy. He can play a multitude of positions. I watched him at Swansea last year. I think he started left wing and finished right back, and that's purely just because of his attitude. And when you've got a player like that, it's infectious. To have players with his attitude and enthusiasm rubs off on the rest of the group. But I want him playing week in, week out consistently, and then we'll consider him for selection.
I know you touched on David Brooks. It was just terrific last night. Wonderful to see a wonderful take and goal as well. But how important can he be coming back into the squad? And you obviously took a look at him in June as well. Yeah,
look, we're up against completely different games in Korea and Latvia. One we won't have so much of the ball as the other. And when you've got creative players like Brooksy that are capable of unlocking any door, then he's going to be really important for us. So great that he's in good form coming into camp.
Ryan Hedges, was he close this time?
Yeah, again, Edgy, we have our -3. We'll get all the staff together. We were together a couple of weeks back and went through the squad. And he's part of the bigger squad that we've got. And again, he's off the back of scoring a good goal. Wes is doing really well at Ipswich with Brodie. They're playing as two of the front three. So we're monitoring all the players, and it's just down to the decision of myself and the coaches and who we think that can come in and have the biggest impact.
Cheers, Rob.
All right.
All right,
Rob, away from the football, being today, Glankin, growing up, did you ever come to places like Glankin, and are you ready for the guided tour trip? I think IG is prepared for you today. Me and IG are paddleboarding straight after this. Have I not told you that? No. My equivalent to this was Ogmore. I was obviously I was in the Rhondda, so we went out to Ogmore and we'd camp outside and do all the outdoor activities, and I love places like this. So and I think it's good to, like I said, to share it out and not just always have the press conferences down south. To come up to West Wales and North Wales and share it about is really important for us as well. So to come here today is great for everybody involved. You can see the impact it has on people who work here as well, and it's lovely for the supporters.
Okay. Yeah, well, just to fill you in, we will be visiting Spirit of 58, Capel Celyn, and then the Eagles tonight in Llanywrthyn. So that's the itinerary.
Looking forward to the Eagles.
Diolch yn fawr. We'll have a short break if the written press is in here.